this year's New York Jewish Film Festival is proud to include one of my favorite movie selections this year. It stayed with me for many weeks after seeing it, and I'm so proud to present Cinema Sabaya and its director, Orit Fouks Rotem. And hi, thank you so much for this really wonderful work, and just something that beyond the work itself, it sort of speaks to so many things. It's more, it feels like more than a film. It's a bit of a conversation, a therapy session, just all these things, a friendship broker. So many things wrapped up in one. I wonder if you could just tell our audience what the film is about, and then we can go from there.
Okay, so thank you for your words. And the film is actually, it's about a group of municipality workers, Jewish and Arab, women, all of them are women that work in all kinds of jobs in the municipality, and they get like a reward grant course in filmmaking, in learning how to film with a video camera. And the whole film is in one place, the meeting place, and their outside world is screened in every session, in every meeting. They get assignments to shoot their life, to shoot their plays, to record sounds from their lives, and what they bring inside the group, inside the sessions, creates friendship and discussions, and the dynamics between them is actually what is the film about. Also about, it's about a lot of things, but the dynamic is the main issue, I think.
Yes, the dynamics between them. And I'm so curious, how long did a film like this take? I mean, maybe I can ask you first, I should ask you first about its origin. And it feels like a lot of time and or love was spent making it, that's a reason why it feels so authentic and real. So maybe, yeah, if you could talk about its origin and how long you spent crafting the story, and maybe perhaps working with the actors, prior to shooting.
Yeah, so the idea came to my mind like 7 years ago. My mother is working in the municipality of Hadera, in a city. It's based on my mother's experience as a participant in one of those groups. Oh. And yeah, so I like the idea of the platform of women that get together and learn some kind of art. She learned stills photography, but I wanted it to be a video. And I like the idea of putting like 8 women in one room, and through their through the way they learn how to use video cameras, we learn about them and see their lives. So I started writing it like 7 years ago, and then until we raised the money, and until I understood what I want to do. It was a long time, and I met a lot of women on the way, and I did these courses myself as a research. So I met a lot of women, Arab and Jewish, and some of the characters are based on the women I met, but in very different ages and different backgrounds. The themes were from my research, and the casting process was like half a year, even more, of meeting more women. Not all of them were actresses, like professional actresses. And the film itself, shooting it, was 12 days, only 12 days. Yeah, it was.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
a lot to get in.
we shot it like a course, chronological order, and I didn't do many rehearsals because I wanted them to know each other for real in the group while I shoot. So they all had scripts and they knew what the scene is about, but they didn't watch the video footage before. So they really reacted to what they saw. And they also didn't know if the story that the women tells based on their lives or not. They didn't know a lot about each other before. So
yes.
So that's how we got this authenticity, because they really reacted, and we shot it with 2 cameras.
Yeah.
So it was very long take.
Right. So you're getting speaking and reaction at the same time.
Exactly.
It's one thing I was wondering. I feel like every single time, when I watched it originally, I watched it again, just about twice. And I noticed that whenever you were framing and people, some of the women in the group were in the background to somebody in the foreground who was speaking, there was always something interesting going on. Nobody, tuned out, or if they looked away, it was for a reason. And perhaps a bit of that has to do with what you're saying, is that they were being surprised. They were not only in character, but they were being surprised as they each were telling their stories.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm wondering, did you have to pay attention a lot to what was going on in the background of the frames? And maybe you can, if you could speak a little bit about working with an ensemble rather than just, one actor in the frame. How is that?
Yeah, it was a challenge. And half of them are like professional actresses, and half are not, less than half, but never acted in their lives. So the main thing I wanted them to do is just to be in this course and be close to themselves as they can and to their characters. I tried to base, after I casted them, a lot of things changed in the script. Suad was supposed to be much older, but when I met Joanna, the actress, I just felt she's Suad, so I changed the details about her life, and a lot of them are very different in their biographic, but they're very close to the characters in their personalities. So I just wanted them to be themselves and experience this course like they experienced it for the first time. So they didn't have to do more than 1-2 takes of the same things, because I didn't want them to do it more than, yeah. So they knew that the takes were really, really long, like half an hour sometimes.
Oh, wow.
We didn't stop. Yeah, and I gave them a lot of space for improvising. They didn't have to say the exact word in the script, but the intention was there. So they had freedom to say whatever they want. So I think that was the main key to get this authenticity, because otherwise if they had to say just what I wrote, they couldn't be so free and natural, I think. And about the background action, there's not so much, but when I didn't say, for instance, action and cut almost. We started talking and then we start shooting. So sometimes they even didn't notice in the back that we were shooting, and then they noticed and just kept doing what they're doing. So everybody in the room knew that we were shooting in that way. So yeah, so it gave them a lot of freedom, I think.
Yeah. Well, they did so well with it, and they were so I don't know, they engaged with each other in such a great way, which brings me to the diversity of the cast itself. I mean, I guess, here it is, it's not fully global where it's like, multiple races and ethnicities and all this stuff. And yet, this room, these 8 women and 9 with Rona, there's such a great diversity, and at least I felt that way with the Jewish Arab women in there and their occupations and sort of their, how religion framed their own individual worlds and all that stuff. How important was it to make sure to have different complexities? I know you're not trying to look for an archetype you're trying to look for real individual people, but how important was that? Because it definitely came across that, there's a wide array here.
Yeah, it's very important for me because I wanted it to be about many subjects, but also from different perspective. So I wanted the old woman to be there. She was Arab, but also I had virgin that it was Jewish. I mean, I just wanted many ages and many backgrounds. So it won't be like all the Arabs are like this and all the Jewish are like that. So it will be like in real life. That's why I chose municipality workers, because it can be the cleaning woman that work in the municipality. It can be the social worker. It's not in the movie, but it gave me a variety of angles of women. So yeah, it was very important for me. I tried to mix it, and even I thought even more, but in the end, I think I found the right amount of what I wanted. So yeah.
And in terms of so you're having to walk these really delicate lines between these Arab Jewish frictions, current and long-standing, and yet have everybody have respect for each other and and an understanding, somehow at least hearing the other person. Did you, I don't know, I'm just curious if you felt like you ever had to shy away from a particular topic when it came to Arab Jewish relations, or did you really dive in alongside with the characters as you were workshopping? How did you navigate that? Because I imagine that was a little bit sensitive, and that you had to be very aware while you were eliciting storylines and conflicts.
Yeah, a lot of the things that are in the movie happens in real life also. I mean, a lot of things that the Jewish women didn't know about Arab women and about the hijab. It came from real life, because they really didn't know that, some of them didn't know that the women that wear hijab are Muslims. And it's not that if you're not wearing hijab, you're a Christian, but if you're not religious, so you can be Muslim and not have hijab. So it's like things that happens in the real life, and but in the political subjects, I didn't want it to be only about that. It was important for me. It wouldn't be only about the political issues, and also for the women, they felt obligated to represent their side. So when we shot the scene with the political issue, when they talk about the hijab and then about suicide bombing, and so it was like the set stopped for an hour. So, and they really talked about it, and they really had an argument that Amal Murkus, that plays Nasrin, she's a very famous actor in Israel, famous singer in Israel, and she was. I don't want it to be about suicide bombing without talking about the Nakba, about what the Israeli Jewish people did to us before. So we had like a lot of talking about it in the shooting itself. They didn't feel like they're only saying text. They felt like they wanted to show the world their perspective and to be part of something they feel represent what they think. So it was difficult to talk about politics without giving it like 3 days of shooting. But in the end it worked because I think they felt they trust me, I think, and they knew that I wouldn't do something to hurt them. So in the end, each one felt she had her side of the story.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And in that way, I'm sure you might have had some identification with your character Rona.
Yeah.
Right? Who gives up so much, though, who is lovely about sort of staying in the background and letting them do their thing. In doing a film about women making films within a film, how did you relate to that character in particular? Or was there like one particular thing that you related to that she was trying to do in this fiction universe with her group that you were trying to do with directing that group?
Yeah, it's based on Rona's character is based on me in a way, but she's very different also. In the beginning, in the script, she was like the main character, and she had a life outside of this place. But yeah, she had a story of her own. But I felt it's not right for this film. After casting these women, and I felt like she should be like a guideline between them,
Yes.
and also have her own she had a will. She wanted to make a film and she wanted to share their stories, and that's also what I wanted to do. And when I did these groups as a research, I thought of making a documentary film of one of those groups, but I couldn't because many women were religious and said it was very personal subjects. And then I started thinking about this film as in that way, that it's about someone that wants to make Rona, actually, that wants to make a film about her group, but she can't. And that's the way I could show the stories I wanted to show in a fiction way, not in a documentary way. So she got her place, but she wasn't the main, she didn't take over all of it, because I thought that the women should have a lot of space, and if she was
right, that's right.
Yeah, if she was the main character, I would lose it. So
yeah, I think she was. She was she was like the perfect amount, just there in the background, but present, but still, and caring for them in a through line. But just I thought that was great. I remember I was writing some things about how one way that this film is so, I guess, women centric or gender attentive, you could say, is how women are often so in this position of always having to accommodate people and peace and accommodate um, so many different things and situations and try to smooth over things. And I feel like as the film sort of progresses, they almost stop doing that and start realizing their own agency and what they need for themselves. And I'm just wondering if that was an intentional, natural part of what happens for them to come into their own. They need to sort of, I don't know if saying it right, but like give up some of their accommodating thing of being a woman and having to,
put themselves in the center.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think it happened to them also in real life. When I wrote it, I tried to divide it for this session is about her, and this session is about her, and this session. So they all had like sessions that they didn't almost speak, but they were there. And I think it happened just naturally that they got the right space for them, the right, for instance, Gila that talks about the husband that used to hit her. She was in the beginning. What?
She's the one I was thinking of the most, actually, with that. Yes.
Yeah. So in the end, she takes a very important place in the end when they talk with Rona about her plan to make a film, and it wasn't planned in the script. She wasn't one of the, but she felt it very. She felt like she has to be strong there because it happened to her that she talked about her story in one of the sessions. So it just happened naturally that they felt that they have place and they have room and they are in the center of things. So in the beginning, in the group, each one was, they had some difficulties with how much they're going to speak comparing to others. And it was interesting to see. In the end, each one had a very important place. I was afraid that some of them would be more on the side, but it didn't happen. I think that every one of them has effect, and I see when the audience see it that everybody relates to someone more. So it's not, So it's a film about 9. Main characters.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I was curious about audiences, and I'm not sure exactly where or how many places you've shown it, but maybe if you could share with us some of the audience reactions that were surprising, perhaps in a good way or a uncomfortable way, or just anything, how they've been engaging with this piece.
So the reactions are really interesting. I showed the film, it didn't release in Israel yet, but it was in some festivals in Jerusalem and in, I just been to Los Angeles in the AFI, and New York and other Israel, and Warsaw and Tallinn. So people react in different ways. I even got some angry response from audience that thought it's real documentary, and they were they felt like like they've been fooled when they see the names of the actresses, even though it was in Israel, and Dana Ivgi, that plays the role of Rona, is a very famous actor, but they explained themselves why is it possible that it's true. So this was a very surprising response for me. And a lot of people, Suad's story is not, nobody tells it in the film, what exactly happened to her. but a lot of people just feel it. So it's also interesting to see. And yeah, and I think the women get a lot of love in the screening. They come to the screening a lot. And it's very surprising for people to see that Suad is actually Joanna, and she's very young and with curly hair, and she has no kids. And also Marlene, that plays the role of Awatif, she has no kids and she's single. So yeah, it's very interesting to see how people react to that.
That'd be really good. Speaking of which, one thing in listening to you, I was remembering like all the fun. It's like a higher level than humor. It's just like there's fun and bubbly moments in the film itself, little magical moments. How important was it to weave those into this story so that the tone, did the tone satisfy what you were going for? And how important was it to add that sort of like fun, bubbly, magical element into this thing that could have been so serious,
Yeah. When I wrote it, I wanted to be funny, but I'm very surprised from the reactions. People really laugh in the film. The audience really laugh, and for me, it was a surprise at the beginning because I thought it's like sometimes funny, but not like hilarious. But people really, yeah. So it was important for me because when I say the premise, like 8 municipality women workers in one place, it sounds depressing, and it doesn't really.
It doesn't really
like something you want to watch, and I really wanted it to be different from how it sounds. Yeah.
Well, I think it combines, all of these great elements together where, you're getting, again, like these heavy duty sessions, but you're also getting singing and just, so many different things. Do you feel like the film inspired any of those women, the actors themselves, to pursue or get more involved in film? Do you find that, or was there anybody, or in your universe that got more inspired by just watching this group of people who weren't supposed to be filmmakers suddenly making art?
Yeah, I think the character of Suad, Joanna, she really fell in love with the cinema world, and she's now working as a editor, and she wants to act more. It was her first film. She really got into it. And Awatif, she didn't act it for years. She was very famous in the 90s, 80s, mostly in the Arab society. And I think it really revived her. Like at the beginning, she didn't want to do it, and I convinced her, and she said it was very good that I convinced her because she had an amazing time, and she's really proud of the film. And Amal Mukus, she's mainly a singer, and to act, she didn't act for years also. So I think they got into this world again, some of them, and it really gave them like, they want more now. So yeah, so I think it was good. In that way, the dreams were very reflexive. They're talking about their dreams because they really connected more to their dreams after this film experience.
Awesome. Well, I guess I have one last question for you. If you can share with our audience, maybe the one surprising thing that making this film brought to your life, something that you didn't expect that happened along the way, similar to how your characters, this great ensemble, the unexpected happens in their lives. Maybe you could just mention one thing that happened in your life that stood out from making the film.
I think the film talks a lot about also the desire to be seen, also for filmmakers. Why do we make films? We want to be seen also in a way. So I think that thing, I don't know if it's surprising, but I realized it about myself, that part of the reason I'm making films is also for the reason I want to be seen and to be heard, but not just heard, to have a place to share my thoughts with people, and I meet a lot of people now when I travel, and for me, and I didn't think I would like it so much. So maybe that's a surprising thing for me, because I prefer usually to be behind the camera. So for me to find out that I wanted a place also to express myself in front of the camera, maybe that. I need to think about it, but that's what came to my mind.
That's so perfect. That is a great note to wrap up on, and just a thoroughly, so again, honest and authentic. It's so much like this film that you made. So I just wish you all the best, and congratulations on it. And I hope many people from fans of this festival will be going to see this film. So thank you so much, Orit. And everybody, Cinema Sabaya, yay.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the film.